Welcome to the Social Dialogue Podcast. We're a mother-daughter team, both working in the world of social media management.
Join us as we share our different perspectives on life today, including trends, fashion, friendships, and career, and how social media impacts it all. Together, we bring two perspectives to one conversation.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
And we're excited to bring you this new episode of the Social Dialogue Podcast. Hi, Nana.
Hi.
I'm going to see you this week.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. You had a fun weekend. That's good news.
I did. We got up at 5 o'clock in the morning for breakfast club. No, sorry, 4:30. We were there by 5. It was crazy.
We don't have to do that this weekend, do we?
No, I'm trying to get us a table that I have all the different prices.
Okay.
So we'll see if anyone else will go in on it with us. Because I don't think Dad would like any of these prices.
Okay. I got a new lipstick. What do you think?
I like it. It looks very natural.
Hi! Hi, Leslie! How are you?
I wish I had time to get pink headphones for today. I feel so left out.
Oh, yeah, we like to be twins. I think this is Leslie Jenna.
Hi!
So we're excited that you're here. And before we start, Leslie, I'm going to tell a story before I introduce you because, Jenna, I'm going to tell you a story. Because I was listening to our guest's most recent podcast episode a couple days ago, or maybe, no, this one I was listening to this morning, actually, on my way to my meeting. And I want to step back in time to when you were in 5th grade. And in 5th grade, you had just begun middle school. You had been a figure skater since 1st grade. And figure skating was, frankly, the bane of my existence at that moment in time because it was, you have some perfectionist tendencies, which you know, and figure skating exacerbated that. It did not have any flexibility. You know, if you put your toe down wrong, you got points off. This was like feeding this negative thing that was making you crazy. But we couldn't tell you to just quit. We wouldn't do that because it had to be your choice. And Dad and I were in cahoots about this. Like, how do we get her to see that she needs, but we would never say to you, you need to stop doing this. It's bad for your mental health. And I also personally didn't like it because when you had the competition weekends, they wanted the moms to show up with like casseroles and stuff for the coaches. And I was like, I don't want to be part of this ice skating community. I have friends. This is Jenna's after school activity. Well, it got to a point where the woman in charge of the whole program said to you, and remember, this was the beginning of middle school. And she said to you, the only way to continue with figure skating is to start coming to practice 6 days a week, before and after school. You were 10 years old. And there was no room for after school activity, just for fun. You had to take it to the next level or you couldn't participate anymore. And in middle school, you wanted to try sport. You tried cross country, which was kind of short-lived, but you wanted to try it. You wanted to continue with the orchestra and you wanted to be in the plays. Plus, you had a social life. You know, you had friends and slumber parties and things going on. And so we waited and we waited and we waited. And when that woman said to you, your choice is to quit or take it to the next level, you and I were standing in my bathroom. This was probably the 1 month of your life that I was better at flat ironing your hair than you were. And then that was very short-lived. And we were both looking in the mirror and I was flat ironing your hair and you said, I think I have to quit skating. And I was so relieved. But the purpose of this story is that you had the confidence to know this is no longer a good fit for me. But I had to hold back and let you get there. And Leslie has an episode all about this today. And I listened to it and I was like, we did it right. Look at us. So let me tell you a little bit about Leslie Randolph and why she's here, because I know this is the first time you're meeting her. So Leslie describes herself.
Yeah, this is a common tendency where my mom likes to bring people on that I don't know, and now we're best friends. So Leslie, you're my new best friend.
Yes, welcome to the club, Leslie. So Leslie describes herself as a self-confidence coach for teenage girls and the teenage girl that still exists in you. She is the host of Why Didn't They Tell Us podcast, and she is the Chief Wisdom Officer of the Coach Chronicles. Leslie teaches teens the skill of cultivating self-confidence. Your daughter might think that self-confidence comes from something external, like acceptance into a certain school or a group of friends or the number on the scale or the number of likes on the latest post. But Leslie's clients are shown that self-confidence comes comes from within, and it is always available to her when she learns to love, trust, and believe in herself. And side note, Leslie is a TED Talk speaker, which is so super cool. So Leslie Randolph, we're so glad that you joined us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, Jenna, I always say I get like some like street credit. I just did a tween summit this past weekend, and I got to like tell the teens and the tweens, like, that's right, I'm on YouTube. I mean, I'm not a short, but I'm on YouTube.
Hey, YouTube is a great start. Great start.
I'll take it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Leslie has really grown her business during the past year and a half or so that I've known her on social. So I've picked up a lot of tips. There are a lot of days I watch your stories, Leslie, and I'm like, oh, if I had known you when Jenna was 12.
Wait, I have to tell you something though. This speaks to like the power of social. I don't think my business has come from social. Isn't that a beautiful thing that like and you guys have talked about this already on the show, right? Like we have this idea when we see someone social of like, so that's what it looks like. And it's like, no, the business has become, which I'm so blessed of, like so much word of mouth. I will say that there are a lot of like groups that my name has been referred in, but like social becomes almost like this beautiful playground and ornament for my business where I get another opportunity to share these, this message and this mission that I feel so passionate and like committed to.
That's really the way it should be. Social should be supporting the business. It should be an adjunct to everything else you're doing, but your actual business and what you do, whatever widget you make, whatever service you provide, that is what matters. And I always say, if a potential client says, I'm thinking about just having a Facebook page and not a website, I'm like, don't do that. That's a bad idea. You don't own that, and you own your URL. So you're doing it the right way. It's sort of like a little glitter on top, having that social to retell those stories.
Yeah. And it also, I think just because of your social dialogue and where your expertise, both of yours lies, it also takes some of the pressure off, right? Like if social is my only gateway to the world, then every day I need to be putting content out there and creating and sharing. And how do I make something that I've already said 1,000 times sound new and novel, right? So it also takes some of that pressure off. As I was working on some big things over the past few months, social's taken a back seat, and that's okay. I don't have to worry that like my seeds are not out there already in the world.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that Jenna and I talk about a lot when we sort of reflect back, and we talked about this with Nina, is sort of like that FOMO thing, that you see something on social. And I'm particularly looking at like teen and tween girls. Jenna's already aged out of that demographic, but certainly she's got memories of that FOMO stage.
Still happens. I'm 21. I still have FOMO. You still have FOMO, Mom, and you're 52. Like, FOMO doesn't go away just based off how old you are.
That's a very good point. And I know we're both very careful. Like if I'm out with a group of friends, my friend Lauren knows if we're out, we will not post. We will not tag each other. We will not show a photo because not everybody was invited. And that's okay that not everybody was invited, but we don't like to put it on social. But you're kind of working with those girls in the early stages of that, where they're looking at how many people liked my photo and who's together on social and all of that. How do you guide these young girls, young women through and navigate through all of that?
Yeah, so it's twofold. So one of it is, and as I was listening to past episodes and just knowing your world, like one of my Leslie the Life Coachisms is that reels are not reality. And to recognize that, and Jenna, I think you had said it, like, that is a highlight reel, right? Like no one is talking about how painful it is to be homesick their freshman year. No one is talking about how it feels to be left out and have FOMO. People are posting the best of the best and kind of leading us to this idea that like we're all supposed to be happy all the time, supposed to be having a good time all the time, and we're all supposed to be included in everything all the time. And the problem with that is those are all lies. We're not supposed to be happy all the time. We aren't going to be included all the time. And there is the good and the bad. And so I think that we continue to send these messages, share these messages very loudly of that what we see on social media is not real. And that includes what we think is happening in that photo, as well as the airbrushing and the bodies and the way people look. And this one is hard for moms. I know it as a mom, but also as a coach. And we need to realize that We are not going to be happy all the time. We are not going to be included all the time. And is one of my favorite words in coaching. That hurts because, Jenna, to your point, yeah, we all still know what FOMO feels like. It hurts and it's going to be okay. Both things are true, right? You're not going to be invited to everything. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt. You guys, I love that this always happens. I went through this weekend with my 10-year-old daughter. All of her friends were together. She was not. And it wasn't that like me and mommy was like, no, you can't have a sleepover. She was not included. And she was sad and she was crying. And, there's that knee jerk of moms to be like, oh, it's okay, because we need them to be okay, because it's so hard for us for them to not be okay, and we want to make it all okay. I just sat with her in that feeling because it does hurt. And I think once that feeling can have like the breath and the air, then we can like take it as like we talked about it. We cried. I cried separately. She cried. And then
I am tearing up listening to this.
It's so hard. But yeah, that emotion was able to have its moment. And then she was able to take my hand. We went downstairs and we finished our family. I don't even remember what we were doing, but she came back down and was with her family. So both things were true. It hurt and I'm okay. So I answered both of those questions in two different paths.
Yeah. Jenna, isn't there a Taylor song about this where she's having a rough day and she goes to the mall, but then she spends time with her mom? Isn't there The Best Day? Isn't that a song?
Yeah, I had the best day. I can't sing.
Yeah, exactly. Sing. Yeah, I won't.
Yeah.
Don't let me sing, y'all.
Don't let my mom sing either.
That reminds me of that song.
Yeah.
Neither of us are allowed to sing.
Yeah. So as I graduate in May, looking to graduate in May, and I'm moving on into, quote unquote, the real world, what is this next chapter going to hold for me and people my age? Like in terms of confidence and FOMO and all the things we've already talked about.
I'm going to put the question back to you, Jenna. Like that, my friend, that is up to you. Whatever the next chapter, whatever you want to create, that is of your own making. But similar to what I just said, I'm going to back up for one moment. I think I need to give a definition of self-confidence. And I love sharing my definition of self-confidence. So self-confidence is knowing, loving, and believing in yourself. So it's that feeling that comes from knowing, loving, and believing in you. And it is the product of taking courageous action, even when every other emotion is present. So even though my daughter felt that really big feeling, she was able, that's why we want our kids to be able to feel all those feelings really young, so that we don't become afraid of feeling negative feelings and have this idea that we're all supposed to be happy all the time, as social media would suggest. It's just not reality. So much about self-confidence is, first of all, how do I talk to and treat myself? That loving and believing in me, knowing who I am and what it is I want. So Jenna, whatever it is you want, I hope you get really clear on what that looks like, and that you have the confidence and courage to take action to make it possible. That does not mean it's going to be easy. It does mean you're probably going to have to step out of your comfort zone. I know that you're going to be moving to a new city and you're going to be looking for a job, right? That's a whole lot of discomfort. Your brain is probably like, no, we should probably just stay in Kentucky.
No.
I know your brain isn't like that, right? But there's somewhere in your brain that probably thinks it's so much safer to do what you've always done. That is our brain just trying to keep us away from danger. And our brain, on its default setting, cannot tell the difference between danger and just feeling a little uncomfortable. It just thinks all of them should be avoided at all costs. So the next chapter holds whatever you or your peers want it to hold, as long as you have that willingness of feeling some uncomfortable emotions, like awkwardness. Jenna, I moved overseas for years, so I lived in a new town, and I was so willing to be awkward and go up to people and be like, hi, my name's Leslie. How are you?
Listen to that story. You called it deliberate discomfort.
Deliberate discomfort.
Wait. Where did you go abroad?
So I lived, but not in college. When my son was 13 months old and I was 6 months pregnant, my family and I moved to Johannesburg, South Africa.
Wow.
And so we were on the other side of the world. And I
you're
did not
still
have
friends with those people.
Wait a minute. I'm leaving Friday to go to Spain to spend 5 days with 12 of my dearest friends from all over the world. I have goosebumps every time I say it.
That's why you're not
so
meeting us in New York next week.
So anyway, so sorry to interrupt.
Very cool.
I
But
just
Jenna,
had
it's
to
only
know where you
cool-
went.
No, please. But it's only cool because truly I was willing to put myself out of my comfort zone, that I was willing to feel a little uncomfortable. So if you think about, and I'm not going to make you say it right now, but like if you think to yourself, like, what do I want from this next chapter? Like, get so clear on that. Like, what does the job look like? What does my social life look like? What is, I mean, you could even get even more clear. What does the room in my new apartment look like? Now,
Pink.
what do I have to do? Did you say pink?
Pink.
Love it. Love it. So what do I have to do to make that happen? When I think about the job, like what calls am I going to have to make? What favors am I going to have to ask? Shane, you know this so well. Like my husband's favorite saying from his uncle passed it down. Your network is your net worth. Who do I know? And who am I going to have to reach out to for help? That's sometimes really uncomfortable. Even as an adult, that's sometimes uncomfortable.
Absolutely. I will say, Jenna, from maybe you were like 13, 14, she decided what her future position would be. And every day she works toward that exact job. And she has
Very
told
true.
people.
Yeah.
She has told people what it is she wants. We'll see how long it takes her to get there. I have no doubt she will get there.
So I love that point, right? First of all, I love that you do that, Jenna. That's so very cool. Like having like a clear finish line makes it a whole lot easier to go on the journey, right? It's like you have the destination plugged in to the GPS. Now we just got to realize like, oh, that was a wrong turn. Oh, that was a wrong turn. Yep, nope, I'm back on track, right? But I love your point, Shane, of how long it will take. I think a lot of us think that these things are supposed to happen really quickly. And yes, because I just listened to your episode with Nina, like we think like friendships are supposed to happen really quickly. And we think that the job is supposed to happen really quickly. I think that's also part of that kind of like happily ever after lie. Like who said it was supposed to happen quickly? And we need to be willing to, if we realize we're on a wrong turn, be like, oh, that doesn't mean it's a failure and I'm never going to work it. It's never going to work out. I just took the wrong path. I'm going to get back over here. Follow my GPS to exactly where I want to go.
It may just be that it's a stepping stone. So her first job may not be the job, but it will be a step in that direction. And then her second and her third. I mean, the days of people taking a job and expecting to be there for 20 years is over. So she will continue to move up the ladder and move over the ladders and move and shift as she needs to. And if she changes her path, that's okay too. You know, she's 21. She's got all the time in the world to make change and make those decisions based on what's best for me right now in my life. I always say women can do it all, but we can't do it all at the same time. So a lot of it will depend on timing. Who knows what her future holds and who she'll meet and where she'll be and what stage of life. And what if, you know, she's at a time when she wants to have a family and that position becomes available. She'll have to make choices. And I'm excited to follow, you know, and see that journey. And I will say, Jenna knows this, that I did not enjoy having little children as a mom. That stage of life was very hard.
What are you talking about? I was a great child.
Should we discuss the time I wrestled you to the ground to put pigtails in?
Or what about the
Literally
time where I
wrestled.
ran in the middle of the street after Build-A-Bear?
Yeah, that was not enjoyable, and I found it very. Jenna was a runner as a kid. Like I would find her in the restaurant kitchens. She'd be missing.
Yeah,
And then
good cardio.
there was the time that she taught her brother, who was about 1 at the time. They both would run away from me in Target, and then I'd wrangle them both, and I'd be in the parking lot buckling them in, and some woman with her newborn was walking by with her baby Bjorn, and I'm like, just wait! I found it a very difficult stage of life. And then through those like second, third, fourth, and into middle school years, I remember one of the teachers in the school said to us at some assembly, she said, don't ride the roller coaster. So when they come home and they're upset and I got left out or I didn't do this or I didn't make a grade or whatever it was, don't ride the roller coaster. And I find that like, even though she's on still a roller coaster of life, it's different now and it's actually really
Are you kidding me?
enjoyable.
It's been a roller coaster of a day.
Yes, she's had a roller coaster of a day. That's true. We don't need to get into that. There's at least one professor we're not fans of. Let's just say that.
Expected.
So, But I don't ride the roller coaster. Now I just get to kind of watch her on the roller coaster. And that is enjoyable. And now she only calls me when she needs me. So I don't have to be there for every
I call you more than I need you.
Yeah, but if I'm busy, you'll survive it. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is to the parents out there who are with young teens and tweens, if they're having a rough time with their daughter at the moment, it gets so much better. It keeps getting better. And parts of it get easier, because when they become adults and they can tell you what they're having a problem with, they can verbalize it and you can work through it together. It's just such a more fun stage of life, I feel. Also did not enjoy toddler mommyhood at all.
No. I'm kind of with you, Shane. Like, I'm just every age and stage, it just keeps getting better. And I've still got young. I mean, I've got a 10 and 11-year-old. But I'm loving seeing, like, their personalities and the humans that they're becoming and the goals that they have and, like, what matters right now and how that's going to continue to change. My son is, like, really into being an entrepreneur. He's in 6th grade. But literally every day he's like, Mom, I've got a new business idea.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, good. Yes.
Yeah.
And listen, I mean, just between the three of us, right? He brings these businesses to his school. And I'm like, listen, you're probably going to get in trouble and you'll face that consequence. But I'm not going to be the one to stop you because I think it's so cool that he has this drive and this passion and he's working towards something. So, I mean, if we can put a little more emphasis on the academics, but he's learning a lot.
That's awesome.
You know what? Learning doesn't just come from academics. It comes from experience.
Amen, Jenna. Amen.
Let's tell my professor that.
Exactly.
You may need to cut that out of the podcast.
I think he's listening to this.
We're also hoping that my kid's principal isn't listening to this.
Right.
So here we go.
Right. But I think we all agree, life experience, and we've said this, about college, but Jenna was looking at colleges, and she and her brother both, it came down to this one university, both of them really liked it, and both of them said, if I was only going to college for academics, this is the perfect place. But it was a lot smaller than the universities both of them chose, and there were other things about it for each of them that just weren't quite the right fit. But both of them knew, and my husband and I agree, college isn't just about your GPA. It's important. I mean, she got
college
a
is
scholarship.
fun.
College is fun. And college is about finding friends and figuring out what you like and what you know and where you can go next. And there's so much more to it. It's so much different than the high school mentality where your GPA is so important and so matters and what you say in that essay. And then you go to college and you learn so many life experiences. I mean, even, just learning how to do your laundry and figuring out when to do your laundry so that you're not in the laundry room with everybody else, because you can't get a machine. So it's a really interesting path. And I guess I'm just really relieved that she has that confidence to know what's important and what's not, even though sometimes she will say to me, I have no self-confidence. And I don't believe her. I literally don't believe her. And I tell her that.
And so much of what you just talked about also comes back to that, like, knowing, loving, and believing in myself. Like, even the college selection process of, like, knowing what it is that I wanted and what I talk about that GPS. Jenna, to your point of, like, what can I expect? Like, you knew exactly what you wanted out of the college experience. For some people, it's really about the academics, or I really want to be able to get a job right out of school. There's probably different schools for them, right? Like, you need to know yourself and take care of yourself and be willing to say, like, you know what, this one isn't the right fit for me. So I see a lot of that already, that confidence coming through, and then believing in yourself and your ability to apply to it, to get into it. There's a lot of confidence that goes into all of it.
Yeah, and to kind of wrap it all up, you kind of touched on this in the beginning, and it's kind of been a topic throughout, but I want to circle back and close in on social, since that's what we do. Pros, cons, how does social play into confidence? I know we already talked about FOMO, but is there anything else you can tell us?
Yeah, so when I talk about some of the things that can chip away at self-confidence, and this really is full circle, Shane, because of the story that you told. So here are a few things that I think can chip away at self-confidence. One is comparison. And I think if you are not mindful, and keep in mind that, like, tweens and teens, so particularly who I coach, Jenna, you're much closer, like, our prefrontal cortex, kind of that, like, CEO, really wise part of our brain, it is not fully developed until the age of 25. That does not mean that you don't have access to it. It just means it requires a lot of intentionality and a lot of mindfulness. So
why you can't drive a rental car until you're 25.
There you go. So when we go on social, which more often than not, and I think we can all agree, we can be really mindless about, it is really quick to get into that comparison trap. And when there's that old saying, like, comparison is the thief of joy. No, comparison is the thief of confidence. When you are looking at other people and feeling less than, or my life should look like this, my college experience should look like this, my body should look like that, it just totally chips away at self-confidence. So I think that social can be a breeding ground for that if you are mindless about it. I think, listen, I love social media. Like Shane said, I use it a lot for my business, right? And it's a great way to connect. As you guys know, I have friends all over the world. It's not always easy to line up a time to FaceTime with time differences. But I know when their kids are graduating and having birthdays and these life milestones, I want to be a part of them. But I have to be mindful. And when I say mindful, paying attention to what is going on inside my beautiful brain when I am scrolling. If the dialogue is not kind, I have two choices. One, I can challenge that voice in my mind, which is a skill that I teach in my one-on-one coaching, right? Like, how do we harness our self-talk versus just let, like, inside-out voices take over? Or I can change the situation, like closing the app. So to have, like, time limits and to have check-ins of, like, how do I feel when I'm scrolling? If I don't feel good, like, A, notice what you're thinking, and B, then turn it off. Like, don't spend so much time on Instagram. Go be with real people in life. But the other thing I was going to say, Shane, that I think chips away at self-confidence is perfection. And I think that social can be a breeding ground for demanding perfection of self. Because, like I had said earlier, it kind of shows these, like, curated perfect moments that aren't real. And when we think everything has to be perfect, we are setting ourselves up for a lot of success, not self-confidence.
Very well
Love
said.
that. Love that.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad you're part of our crew now. We're like growing our friend group every time we do one of these recordings.
I can't wait for the in-person. Like, I already see like the most awesome party happening just based on who's already been on the show. Like, I'm in.
We've got some good ones coming. One of Jenna's friends we just recorded with the other day. She's in her first job out of college and living in the big city, and we had a great conversation with her, and she's killing it, and she's learning all the things and having a lot of fun. And so that was a really fun one. That one's coming soon.
I love it. I can't wait to tune in. Thanks for the opportunity to be here, and thanks for the well wishes. And I love what you guys are doing. A mother-daughter, this is just the coolest.
Thanks.
So I have a funny story for you to tag on to this about the perfectionism stuff on social. So when you were in, what grade were you? I guess 5th grade is when our little group of mom friends launched, right? You were in 5th grade.
I don't remember.
The reason it launched was, frankly, we were making fun of another mom who was on Facebook being like, I've made my children homemade granola bars to take in the car to school and blah, blah, like all this perfectionist crap.
Are you
And I was
finally
like,
telling me the
No.
lore behind
No.
Groundhog Juice Box?
No, I'm not. I told you, when the last one graduates high school, and I think Maisie's in 4th grade, so you got a while to go.
It's ridiculous.
But I think she's in 4th grade. She's very little. Anyway, no, this was a totally different mom. But the reason was we were on like a group text and everyone was like, you know, hey, I fed my kid cold pizza for dinner. And hey, my kid didn't even get breakfast today because I haven't been to Kroger in a week. And so it became like the imperfect group of moms, kind of like, we were kind of like one-upping each other who could do it worse. And that's how we all bonded, that whole little group of friends.
That.
Yeah. So, anything going on social? I know you've been really busy with school and
Yes.
work, so do you have
Wait,
something?
this one's been funny. So it's like the wake in the morning.
Yeah.
Step
Oh, with
outside.
the 2 people?
Yeah, I think we should do that this week, Mom. But I want to do the second half. You do
That's fine.
the nice part, and I'll do the funny part. But I think it's been really funny, and I think it's been a funny trend that's been going on.
It is funny. Yeah. I'll tell you, I know you're doing the social media and I'm not, but I do have one for you that's social media. Have you seen this Group 7 thing?
Yeah.
Like, so random and weird. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that popped up. Okay, so I have a Facebook group one for you. Let me scroll to, okay. This was posted last year by a senior's parents, and it was posted
Like a high school senior.
No, college. A college
Oh, okay.
senior. So a college senior is 22, 23 years old, something like that.
Yeah, usually it's like, yeah.
Okay. So this person posted, question about undergrad graduation. My daughter is set to graduate in May. So again, her daughter is graduating college. She's 22 or 23 years old. She has one more class to take in the summer. She told me her student advisor person said she is still graduating in May, but her diploma or degree will be mailed to her in the summer when she finishes the class. Is this accurate? I plan on calling on Monday to make sure.
First of all, it is accurate. Second of all, are you nuts?
Right. Why is a mother calling a university to ask about this? Number one, why would your daughter lie to you? Number two, if there's a question about her degree from college and you have a follow-up question, you ask your daughter. Your daughter can find out whatever answers you need to put your mind at ease. That is my statement of the day.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Where are you off to now? Nap time?
Have work to do and homework and then Pilates and then dinner and then more work.
Thanks for joining us on the Social Dialogue podcast. If you liked today's conversation, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating and a review and share it with a friend.
Keep the dialogue going with us on social. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
Thanks for listening.